Hello there, welcome back. It's Sheepishly here once again, and today I've got some farming strat testing for you guys. We're gonna be doing, well, 100 maps of Harbinger farm. I've split them up into two tabs here. We have 50 maps here and 50 maps on the next one. It's a pretty stock standard Harbinger test. I just haven't tested Harbinger this league yet. They did introduce the new Harbinger Scarab of Obelisks. I did hear people say that they were dropping quite a lot of fracturing shards, so we're gonna have a go to see if the rumors are true with this 100 map test. Besides that, we're just running 2 times Harbinger Scarabs, one of Regency, which is to increase the odds of seeing a King Harbinger, and finally taking a Warhorse as well. The map that we'll be running is Strand. I bought these 8-mile Strand maps, and the reason we want to run Strands is, well, I like the map, and secondly, I want to see the IC Brothers card. We are farming for Fracturing Orbs. I'm really hoping to get some Fracturing Shards, Fracturing Orbs, so I can start crafting my large cluster jewels. Might quickly bring up Wealthy Exiles. You can see that it is about 8.5 divines for Scarabs for each 50 maps, so together it's about 17 divines altogether in terms of scarab cost. I think I paid a little bit more than that, just because when I'm buying bulk, Wealthy Exile does tend to underestimate a little bit, but not by much. So let's say 17 divines of scarab costs to buy the 100 strand maps. You can probably self farm these, but I got a bit lazy, so I bought them. It's 6 divines. So altogether, we're looking at an investment of about like 22, maybe 23 divines if you're buying in bulk. Before we move on, let's just quickly take a look at our Atlas tree. It's a pretty stock standard tree. Nothing to say there. I've got all my Harbinger nodes. I've got some shrines because shrines are fun and enjoyable. Makes me run a bit faster. I've taken all the map effect modifier nodes around the map. The only one I didn't take is Chisel Perfection because the 8 mod maps has no quality, so this mod doesn't really impact anything. In terms of altars, I'm still running blue just because it's nearby. My secondary mechanic is Betrayal. I want to set up some Gravicious farming stuff before I think they nerf it next league. I also think Gravicious will be nerfed next league. Hopefully we can get something crazy like Mirrors or something like that, but I won't be including Betrayal Prophet in this video. I think for this video I'm actually only going to be tracking Ancient Orbs and Fracturing Orbs or Shards because that's the only thing that's worth anything at this point of the league. A little bit of map tier chance just so we can have some tier 17 maps drops as well. Yeah, otherwise just fill out your tree how you want. If you don't want to run Betrayal, you can also, I would suggest you to run Nico because you can make it run a bit faster. You also can get some nice sulfites to convert into, delve stuff, which is nice. But yeah, I think it's fairly fast. I've also seen people boss rush on C squares with kind of like, Shaper, Conqueror map drops. Really, it's anything you want. Harbingers are so kind of like non-point intensive. There's only like 3 wheels on the tree. You can probably do anything you want there. Yeah, without further ado, let's get into it and see what we get. Welcome back. 100 maps all done. I think we did pretty well on these 100 maps. Let me show you guys what we got. So I've split up the currency. I've split the drops into currency and other drops. So 2 tabs right here. Maybe we'll just walk you through the loot and then we'll go through how much we made in terms of divines altogether. Obviously, the biggest one here is the 5 fracturing orbs that we found, as well as 6 additional fracturing shards. So we did get a bit unlucky with these. Across 100 maps, I didn't get a single full fracturing orb drop, which I think you expect to get at least 1, I think, is what the math comes out to. So if you imagine one of these becomes a fracturing orb maybe, that's a better way of looking at profit, but hey, I don't like to normalize my numbers, so 5 fracturing orbs and 6 shards. We've got a bunch of annulment orbs as well as ancient orbs. I don't think they're worth that much. I think maybe about like 6-7 divines in terms of annulments and something in terms of ancient orbs, something like that. 4 raw divines, a sacred orb, which is surprising. We are 1/20th away to a mirror, as people say. A lot of exalts. I think 30 exalts is looking pretty good. Some Vodos and some valuable Scarabs. I think Hornscape Awakening is almost 2 divines nowadays. And Ultimatum Scarab of Catalyzing as well as a Containment. So it's not bad in terms of profit. I think all up, it's probably, well, we'll go through the actual numbers later, but I think we did achieve our goal, which is farming for fracturing orbs. Coming over to the non-Harbinger drops, I think the key one to call out are these fortress maps. We've ran 100 maps, we've got about 21 fortress map returns, which is absolutely fantastic. I think it's something that everyone knows, that Harbinger does drop a lot of maps, and guess what tier 16 maps turn into in this league? Tier 17 maps, which are very valuable. These are worth about 1 to 1.1 divines each, so this makes up quite a lot of our non-Harbinger currency returns, so it's quite good. Was surprising to me that we got 21 fortress maps, but hey, it's a pleasant surprise, so I'm not going to complain. In terms of other drops, we have a Ironheart Memory of Harvest Beast, which is I think 3-4 divines. Oh, it's something that's nice to see. We have some a little fractured gear here, which is a Dagger of Incision with a T1 perfect crit chance fracture. I don't know how much this one sells, maybe 2 or 3 divines. I just thought it was interesting because it was a perfect roll right there, so that's nice. We have a replica Dragon Fang, so let's ID that now actually. Bam! +3 to all sweep gems. There we go. That's fancy. That's the best drop we've seen all day, I think. No, I'm just kidding. No one uses sweep. And lastly, I think this is actually a surprising one. We have a 27 quality necrotic armor, which is quite ironic because I spent most of my league farming for necrotic armors to make recombination guides, and now here we have a 27 quality one. So I think this is about 10-12 divines, but I might just keep it just for fun. We're not really strapped for cash at this stage of the league anyways. Well, there you go. There's a lot of other drops that I haven't included in this summary. So for example, I don't pick up any Harbinger orbs, I don't pick up any Elk shards or anything like that, alteration shards. I didn't count Chaos orbs in my summary just because it's very hard to separate out what is dropped from Harbingers and what is dropped from the map monsters, right? But suffice to say that we have gained a lot of Chaos orbs as part of this farm, and it more than makes up for the 4 Chaos Harbinger map craft on the map device there. We've also got a lot of divination cards, which I also didn't keep track. But what we didn't get is IC Brothers. You can see that I haven't really, I don't really have any IC Brothers. Well, I have them, but these are like, from a different farm. It's not really from these 100 strand maps that I ran, so we probably can't count these. And then lastly, it's kind of like, before we go into the actual divines per hour and all that stuff, I just want to mention that the way we've set up this farm, it's running Harbinger as primaries, and I've only tracked returns from Harbingers and raw map drops. We also have been running June as a secondary mechanic. Now all the June jobs, I haven't been counting them, and this is to keep my results a bit pure, because you can unspec all these June nodes, you can take more map drops with more tier 17s, you can take Beyond, you can take beasts, you can take anything you want, right, to supplement your Harbinger farm. So I'm not going to count that. Depends on what strategy you want to run. You can pick up a different secondary Atlas mechanic, and you can make currency that way. So the numbers definitely are a bit on the conservative side. Jumping into the spreadsheets, I will link this in the video comments, maybe as a pinned comment below. Well, really just summarizing what we've been doing so far. So I have a tree, which, you can check out the link there. Essentially what we do is take all the hobby nodes, map effect nodes, and I've got a little bit of commentary here for you guys as well to make sure we've got a nice summary of the setup up top. In terms of costs, so Harbinger costs, we're just counting the Scarabs. It counts to about 17 divines for 100 maps. The map costs for 108 mod strand maps with about 6 divines buying them, which is, I think, a fairly reasonable price. I think you can probably get this for a bit cheaper if you wait for certain time zones to come online. In terms of returns, so same as the Harvest farm, I've separated them out into Harbinger returns as well as map returns, right? Just to really kind of work out the return on investment for the Harbinger farm. So here we count the fracturing shards, fracturing orbs, annulments, ancient, as well as exalts, which comes out to be about 51 divines. So we've made about 34 divines in 100 maps, which is not too bad. For the map returns, so here I'm counting on the fortress maps and divine drops. You can probably take out some of these scarab drops if you think they're like lucky drops, but realistically, over 100 maps, you're bound to get some, tinks of scarabs one way or the other. I was gonna say that divines, I thought we actually got a bit less than what I expected, but hey, it's fairly similar. So in terms of returns for raw mapping, we also got 34 divines, which is surprisingly, it's come out to be pretty similar in terms of numbers. So you can see the farm is actually generating, the map itself is generating a lot of currency for us as well. It's a good league in terms of farming and returns. For the notable drops, we have the 27 necrotic armors, so 10, 12 divines, but I'm probably not going to sell. And across the 100 maps, I've made about 2.5 million gold, which is not too bad. So all up, we made about 70 divines. The maps don't take very long. I will attach a video of a mapping run at the end. It takes about 3 minutes, and that's including me doing the betrayal content that I'm trying to farm for Gravicious for. Actually killing Harbingers don't take very long. In terms of actual profit per map though, I think you're gonna get something between like half a divine or to 2/3 of a divine per map just from these drops. So whatever secondary mechanic you put on is likely gonna push your divines per hour to 1 divine per map, which is fantastic. So if you can do something, again, I don't like divines per hour just because people map at their own speeds, but if you really want to do the math for it, if you can get something like 2/3 of a divine per map, and you can run about like say 20 maps every hour, it's about 13 divines, give or take, every hour. So Harbingers, in terms of divines per hour, probably not the best. You can do better with tier 17 boxes farm, but it is such a chill farm. It is such a familiar farm as well. I'm sure everyone's done Harbingers at some point in their career, and with the Obelisks, I think Obelisks is definitely worth to run. You actually drop a lot more consistent fracturing shards, even though they come out in smaller stacks. So all the tinks every couple maps really it really energizes you. Anyways, enough yapping. That's it for the 100 maps Harbinger test. It is pretty good. I definitely do recommend it if you're just looking to unwind after work or something like that. Please give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what other league mechanic you would like to see me test in my next video before POE 2 comes out. That's all for me today. Good luck on your crafting and farming adventures. I will put a map showcase after this. See you guys next time. Bye bye.
Oh, me kidney.
Just do death. You say
Savage slaying.